everyone. We are live for today's Facebook Live. I'm Elizabeth Mathern with Kuck, Baxter, Immigration. I'm down in the South Georgia office. I am halfway between Tipton and Valdosta off I-75. Tipton, Valdosta, Adel, we're all having kind of high COVID rates right now. So that is something that a lot of people may be experiencing. We are back to wearing masks and being safe. If you are in South Georgia, North Florida, our region, we're definitely holding you in our thoughts because it's kind of scary right now. A lot of people are hospitalized, and there are a lot of people who are not vaccinated who are getting sick. So please, do your research and consider getting vaccinated if that's something that you are able to do. So it might save your life or our children's lives. So we've got, little kids that can't get vaccinated. So that's just local stuff that's going on in our neighborhood here in South Georgia. So today I am going to give you guys the latest immigration law updates. I'm also going to answer your questions live. I've got my glasses ready so I can read your questions. There's a lot of stuff happening in immigration law. Some of it is probably more interesting to the immigration lawyers. And we had big news this week regarding the diversity visa lottery case. Also, a ruling just came out from a federal court in Texas regarding Biden's priorities, ICE priorities, whether or not the feds can just release people. So that's like a 160-page decision. I was just briefly skimming it. It is interesting, and we'll have to dig more into that to give you an update, like a more detailed update. But let's jump right in. So please feel free to post any questions. As I mentioned before, my name is Elizabeth Mathern. I am in the South Georgia office. If you are interested in doing a consultation with me, asking me any questions about your case, I'm going to put my little ticker up. That's how you can find me. All right, folks. Gosh, it has been a interesting couple of months in immigration law. Boy, oh boy. Okay, and next week it may start getting even more interesting. So as many of you know, we're hoping that the House comes back for a vote on both the infrastructure bill and the budget reconciliation bill next week. We don't know if they'll actually vote next week, but that's what they've promised. So they're coming back from recess early. The speaker called them back and everyone agreed to come back early. Also, there's talk about the debt ceiling and Republicans saying they're not going to increase the debt ceiling, kind of getting into all of this push and pull of the different levers that, and utilizing the different powers that they have. But we'll see. We'll see if they take a vote. We'll see if we hear talks about anything changing, any tweaks being made. As you know, some of the more, I guess they're classified as more conservative Democrats have said they won't, or they don't want to sign, or are unwilling to sign such a large budget reconciliation package. Kristen Sinema said she didn't want to sign something that was $3.5 trillion. That number was too high for her. We'll see if she will be a little bit flexible on that or not. Okay, in other news, the diversity visa lottery victory that our firm and the rest of the impact litigation team was able to secure on behalf of diversity lottery 2020 winners. Mr. Kuck and the impact litigation team did a Facebook Live or YouTube Live, whatever it was, last night, I believe. So that we can post that in the comments, a link to that if you are wondering what the latest on Diversity Visa 2020 is. The judge basically said that they had made their case that the delay was unreasonable and that that certain number of visas should be held and people should be allowed to use them to enter the U.S. Now, I think that at some point there was a hope that it might be more than just that number, but the judge's order specifically enumerated the number of visas that he was instructing the State Department to allow people to use to enter. So I think that there is a breakdown of what the legal team thinks that this judge's order means, and all that good information in the impact litigation video that was put out last night. We'll try to put a link in the comments of this Facebook page. You can also go on our Facebook page, Kuck Baxter Immigration, scroll down, and you should be able to find it in videos there, or at least a link to it, okay? Really good news for DV 2020. And I think that that probably means really good news for potentially for DV 2021. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. Pooji, I think I just answered your question regarding DV 2020. That's what we were just talking about. How close? Joseph is asking how close are DQ cases on getting 2 NLs, DV 2020. Joseph, I am not that involved in order to be able to give you like an idea of what numbers are being issued right now or dealt with right now. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer to your question on that, but you might be able to find that information in the video. I'm not sure that we get that specific regarding actual numbers. Okay, so yay for our impact litigation team. I think that's an awesome victory. It is hard fought and well earned. So congratulations to Mr. Kuck, the other attorneys in our firm who fought hard on that, including Danielle Claffey, and then the other attorneys with the partnering firms that worked with us, including AILA National, which is American Immigration Lawyers Association. If you don't know, that is an amazing association for immigration lawyers, and it's always good to hire an immigration lawyer that's a member of AILA because we get so much support and information through that organization. Okay, let's see. Oh, Afghanistan. So we all are seeing what's going on with Afghanistan, and people are trying to get out. There are lots of people who maybe U.S. citizens, may have visas, all of that. I have seen some sort of like visa paperwork going around that I'm hearing attorneys are getting sent by the State Department saying that person's supposed to take that, print that, and take that directly to the airport. It's a very, very scary, volatile situation over there. And I'm just going to keep my commentary to myself about that. But we know that Afghan interpreters and all of the people who supported American troops have been requesting. I mean, this is a 20-year war, right? I think that there is 18,000 special immigrant visas pending. And we know that those basically ground to a halt during the Trump administration. They just were put on the shelf. And then with COVID and the backlogs, that type of visa has not been on the forefront of being processed. So there have been people who have had legitimate SIV cases been stalled for years and years and years. So it's sad, it's a tragedy, but I'm hoping that our government's going to be able to process those applications. Now, I know that there was a statement made about that we would take every effort to evacuate our our allies, people who stepped up and helped U.S. forces. We will see. There is also talk about a refugee program that would, and I believe that this is already underway, that would set up camps in Texas. It's had two military bases, and start bringing people who are relatives of U.S. citizens and who helped U.S. forces over as soon as possible. Now, there's something else that's being talked about expanding the SIV program to include, to make it like a larger net to, I guess, people who are not already qualified under that program, maybe through a family relationship, but it's not an immediate relative, things like that. So we will just have to see how all that unfolds. And unfortunately, it's a very, very quickly moving situation. So there will probably be a lot happening on that over the next few days and weeks. I am happy to see mayors and governors announcing that they will support certain number of refugees. It is the right thing to do. It frustrates me a little bit how politicians cherry pick refugees. So we know that the Northern Triangle is in desperate need of assistance. People are fleeing for their lives. And so I hate to see some groups picked over others. But anyway, it looks like even Georgia, the governor said that we should welcome some refugees from Afghanistan. I think that we will see how that unfolds. It's can be just posturing for points with their demographic. So we'll see. Also, what else? Let me look. I think we have a few questions. Okay. Okay, Joseph says he's not asking about a number. He just wants to know my prediction on how lucky we can be. I don't know if it's luck so much, Joseph. I think that these litigation cases that we have regarding diversity, visa, and unreasonable delay makes sense. Like, they're not really, I don't know. In other words, I think we should win, and I don't think it's about luck. I think it's about the rule of law. So that's my prediction, but you can take that for what it's worth with a grain of salt, I guess. All right, let's see. Do I expect the 865 adjudication time to get better in the coming days? I don't. I mean, when you deal with the bloated bureaucracy of the government for so many years, I think you get a little bit jaded, especially when you see all these backlogs like we do. And, they're no longer under the certain rules that they have to process these EADs within a certain time frame. I am hoping that under the leadership of Adjudication, that things will become more streamlined, become more common sense, that they will add additional ways to make things run more smoothly. If they could just make an expedite process, you're asking about premium processing. If they could just make a humanitarian expedite process a little bit more robust, or even just something that actually works, I think that would be amazing. I think that if you timely file your EAD, you support a family, and you're going to lose your job because you're not getting your response in a timely manner, you should be able to bring that to the government's attention and ask for your card to be expedited. I know that if you don't know, there is an automatic extension when you get your receipt for certain categories. I don't understand why certain categories get that extension and others don't. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to the USCIS website, look at the I-765 page, and it talks more about that. I don't understand. Like, if they can't timely process applications, then they should provide extensions. If you timely file your renewal, then you've done everything you're supposed to do. And a lot of people with employment authorization documents only get it for 1 year. So you're basically, you get, 6 months with your driver's license, your work card, everything, and then you're right back at it, having to prep your forms, save your money, dish it out, and get that renewal going again. And that is a lot for working families. So I think that's one of my biggest frustrations. The work permit process should be easy. It should be streamlined. It should be fast, especially if you're doing a renewal. But we'll step off of my soapbox there. So is there any chance, to go back to your question, go cool, is there any chance that they'll speed up? In the near future, I don't think so. But I have hope for the distant future. Like, let's say in a year or two, they could effectively implement some really good procedures, simple procedures that speed things up and hire more staff. And a premium processing idea might be a really good fix for that. At least people pay more, or pay sort of a premium, and it moves faster. People that have the means to be able to do that, I could clear things out of the way. I think it's a possibility. I really do. We have, I think, pretty smart and reasonable leadership now at USCIS. So let's hope. Let's hope. I'm going to stay hopeful. Okay, folks, let's see. Thank you all so much for joining and asking your questions. It's really nice to be with you every week. Okay, let's see. Vanessa Garcia wants to know what's going on with the ruling, the Nevada judge. Vanessa, let's see. I don't know what does that have to, like, what's the topic of that? Because I know that the one that just came out is Texas. The one that I was reading about, the ICE priorities has been enjoined. Like, the Texas federal judge said, basically, in what I'm skimming, ICE can't do whatever they want to do in releasing people that they want to release. And what I read in the first part of it is related to mandatory detention. And it starts going into all this gross stuff about, well, I don't like the terminology that it's sort of using, sort of trying to classify immigrants and crime as a correlation, and that there's some sort of a criminal alien element. It's just really, I don't know, I feel like it's inaccurate, misleading, kind of toxic sort of discussion that's happening in that decision. And I'm only on like page 3. So we'll see. I'm going to read it all for you guys and get back to you. But Vanessa, post about the Nevada, what the topic is regarding the Nevada case, because I'm not recalling that right off the top of my head. And I may have heard about it by topic, but don't know exactly what you're talking about. We've got a lot of stuff coming in all the time, so feel free. Okay, Hassan wants to know, what do I think about Go? I think Go is a go. I think it's going to be fine. Just keep the hope, keep the faith, all right? It's a good case. It's a really good case. So just keep staying positive. Everything's looking good in my perspective. I'm not on the litigation team. From the outside looking in, I think there's a lot of reason to stay hopeful. Okay, Angela, I'm from Colombia and I work for a company in the United States. What should I do to obtain my visa? Okay, so there is a lot of information that we would need to be able to answer that question. I think, Angela, the best thing for you to do is schedule a consultation. I don't necessarily want you putting online all the details of your your current situation. So I think it's good for you to call us, schedule a consultation with an immigration attorney, and let's talk about the facts of your case. Let's see if there's a way for you to change status. All right, either change from a non-immigrant status to a different non-immigrant status, or maybe even to a longer-term path to permanent residency and citizenship. Okay, let's see. And thank you for that question. I think that there are a lot of people who are interested in work-related options who don't have family-based, paths to change status. So it is a good thing to ask about. All right, Carlos says yes. The yearly work permit is so expensive. It is. I get it. I really get it. And then you end up waiting, and it's extremely stressful. You file all your stuff on time, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. Your job gives you notice that they could terminate you. Like, it's just, what a headache. What a constant state of stress. Doesn't have to be like that, right? Like the driver's license people are able to issue decisions pretty quickly, and they're known for being inefficient. So, gosh, if there's any people that work for the driver's license board or services or whatever, don't take offense to what I'm saying. It's just that it's a headache. So, all right, let's see. Okay, Ahmed, yes, regarding the order of the Gomez case. Is there a second part to that? Regarding what part of it? We can post the link if you'd like to the actual order. Remember that if you're interested in diversity visa, lottery cases, litigation, situations, you must follow Mr. Kuck on Twitter. All right, so if you don't have Twitter and you're interested in diversity lotto, you need to get on Twitter. Mr. Kuck's handle, as they say, is CKUCK. The little @ arroba CKUCK. That's Mr. Kuck's Twitter. Yep. Oh, okay, and you can follow the firm. We got in the comments. You can follow the firm at Kuck Baxter. All right. And all the updates are posted there almost in real time regarding especially the litigation stuff, okay? And then also you'll be able to find there the links to the videos where they do the evening impact litigation video call, conference meeting thing like we're doing now. Okay, what else? Let's see. So hopefully next week, we'll be able to talk more about this budget reconciliation, and if it's been to a vote, if we think it's going to go to a vote, we will be able to see what happens with his ICE priority memo being frozen. I anticipate that may mean that there's going to be a clash between how ICE has been releasing people, how ICE has been maybe not NTAing people. This may not cover that, but it may have an impact on what we see regarding people being released from detention. And then there may be some tension between the Freihat injunction and directives regarding release for people with certain high-risk medical conditions and this, because the way we've seen that applied is that even if someone's subject to mandatory detention, if they have high-risk medical conditions, they have been being released. So it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. Another thing that sort of comes to mind is I wonder how this is going to affect people with orders who have filed for a stay of removal or who the government cannot remove, who have maybe are subject to mandatory detention. If the government only has 180 days to effectuate removal, And let's say a country like Haiti that has just experienced another natural disaster is not in the position to take back more of their citizens. I don't even know if there's flights to Haiti right now. So, you know, this could mean that, unfortunately, this could have a ripple effect, meaning some groups of people who may have been being released may not be released now. And those people were being released because they were in real danger from detention. So unfortunately, there may be some effects that are really heartbreaking. You know, the Freiheit injunction and the subsequent releases that came from it saved lives. It saved the lives of people who were sitting ducks for COVID, for medical neglect, etc. So unfortunately, if they're not going to continue to be able to release people who really, really need to be released, you might see some pretty dire consequences from that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep fighting. We're going to make sure that we read this decision, every word of it, make sure we understand its ramifications, okay? So, all right. I don't think we have any other questions, folks. I don't have any other major updates in immigration law. Let's give our Impact Litigation team another round of applause for their big diversity visa lottery win this week. Congratulations to all of you who were joined in this case, were plaintiffs in this case, and who will be impacted by this win. And I hope that you are processed quickly and that everything goes smoothly. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and jump off and get back to it. I'll see you next Thursday. I'll be here. Take care. Bye-bye.